open. My name is Osney Lewis. I'm chair of the Transportation and Public Safety Committee, as well as the treasurer for CB17. What we will do, we'll just have some introductions, so anybody could start, just so that we know everyone that's on the who's participating in the meeting tonight.
Good evening, Leonie Logan, committee member.
Good evening, George State, committee member.
Monica McCain Brown, committee member.
Good evening,
Judith, committee member.
Good evening, Judith Aarons, committee member.
Hello, everyone. Kimberly Mormon, committee member, but not a board member. Thank you.
Audrey Henderson, good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Simone Sylvester, community board member.
Hi, Aarti Mehta, presenter.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. Taji Morris with Dollaride, also presenting with Artie.
Okay.
Good night, everyone. Detective Skinner from 6-7 Community Affairs.
All right. Wonderful. So I think that's everyone so far, I believe. So I don't believe we have the minutes, and even if we did, we are still trying to work out all of the active members on the committee so that we could finally vote on the minutes. So I've been going through with that with Ms. Fraser, as well as Ms. Lyons, to really see who is on this committee and kind of figure out how we could get to a quorum to actually be able to, once the minutes are ready to be voted upon, that we could have a quorum to vote on them. But I digress. I'll just straight go to the chairperson's report. So during the month of January, there was several different things, well, not just January, but also in the month of February. There were several items. There are more discussions on this, the bike share, rack share things. There was discussion to move that to, I think, 54th Street and Linden Boulevard. I sent out an email asking why is there a necessity to have another one, but DOT will do what they will do. They will tell you they won't do one thing, but they continue to do whatever they want to do. So we are still trying to have several of the bike racks actually moved completely out of specific areas because it is not in use, but their rubric is that after an entire year, then they will give metrics on the usage. So what we'll do, we'll just continue to pay attention to those emails and the new areas where they decide to put the bike racks. I believe by now they should have completed the 31 that they have in this 1.1 mile area requirement that they have. So we're still looking at that. During this month also, there was a meeting with Inspector Saliba and the community affair officer, Detective Pierre, as well as the traffic. I believe it's captain or lieutenant who is actually out patrolling. There has been a couple complaints made by the Black Association that is on, I believe, what's that, 55th Street? I believe the Black Association president is here tonight, Ms. Hazel Martinez, in which there was discussion about several different issues in the area. Besides double parking and so forth, there was a gentleman who had actually 3 trailers, or well, not trailers, but what do you call them again? Mobile homes that were parked in the area. There was an unsafe situation, you know, gasoline and different things he was using to power, as well as, you know, use of the fire hydrant to get water. And it was brought to our attention, I believe, that the gentleman lives there with a woman and a child. I think from my last speaking to Ms. Martinez, one of the mobile homes was moved. I think there was a total of 4 in the general area. That is by Clarendon Avenue and 58th Street, where the 2 schools are, Nazareth High School and Pierce 235, 135, the annex schools that they have there in the area of the McDonald's and Footprints. So that's the general area, and Clarendon House, that Clarendon House historical site where the park is there too. So, you know, we will continue to see how we can, as the public safety, as transportation, see how we could get those agencies to do their due diligence. It's brought to our attention, as Detective Saliba said, Inspector Saliba said, a lot of the times, some of the stuff, the purview or the stuff that's there does not fall in the purview of the police department. And I think Council Member Farrah Lewis, one of her folks was there also to try to get the gentleman some help in taking care of the situation. You know, he had a tough situation. He lost his home. Several things happened, and this is the way that he found it fit to try to live or survive. Put that, survive. So we'll continue to monitor that and see what other changes or what can be done to make that a lot safer and a lot better for the community at large. Also, it was brought to my attention, I went to a meeting, Inspector Saliba is actually going to be leaving the 6th, 7th precinct, and he's getting a promotion. I not too sure where the promotion is going to carry him, but there was an interview for another inspector of the 6th, 7th. I forgot the woman's name, but we had the interview, and we found out about, and we were, I think the 67th Community Council was to come up with a specific response as to, you know, whether they would vote in favor or accept. There was supposed to be 2 candidates. She was the only one that showed up. So to me personally, that says a lot about the other person, whether they had a viable excuse to come or they choose not to come to maybe want to lead the 67 precinct. Who knows? But she was there. So the only thing I could hope for is that she understands the dynamic of the community. Inspector Saliba was very hands-on, very proactive, and somebody who you could always reach. And he came out and made a great effort to come out to the community board meetings and so forth like that. So, you know, if she could do maybe even half as much as he did, you know, that would be a good start. So besides that, that for now really ends my report on the chair's report. I do see some other folks came on, and because we have this meeting recorded, we always would like to have those folks introduce themselves.
Hello, Kathy Lavelle.
Okay, and you are a board member, a committee member?
Committee member.
Very well. Then I see one other person, Francesca Johnson.
Yes, Francisca Johnson,
Okay, you are.
community member.
All right, great. All right, so tonight we have actually two presentations. So I would like Detective Skinner to as the NYPD Community Affairs Unit. I would like him to go first, and then secondly, Poach Advisors will be our second presentation.
Good evening, everyone. Detective Skinner from the 6-7 Precinct Community Affairs Office. Report we have tonight. It's not a long report, which is pretty good because of the fact of what we took in a 28-day period of February. So we're actually down in overall crime for 2023 for the 28-day period, 6%. Some of the things that we are up in is such as robberies that we're seeing targeted amongst youths. And what they're doing is it's basically juvenile on juvenile crime. But some of the cliques that attack these kids, some of them are not juveniles. So we're seeing like it's a mixture. And what they're doing is they're going up to these young kids out of school, and if they see a cell phone in their hand, they're going up to them and they're snatching it, or they're actually one would punch the young man or woman, and they would snatch the cell phone, and then they basically trying to force them to get into their phones by putting in like their PIN numbers and stuff like that, trying to obtain like personal information. We have made arrest on it, but we're still seeing, since we've made arrest on it, I believe we made, let me see, 4 arrests on it, back-to-back weeks. And we saw a slowdown on it, but we did see one last week regarding the same thing. So that's something that we're still keeping an eye on, being vigilant of, and enforcing. And it's all along the school corridors, mainly in Sector Charlie, Eddie, and David. Burglaries, we're seeing a spike in. Mainly it's commercial burglaries. A lot of these buildings and construction sites that we're seeing burglaries that's taking place in. There's still like, you know, copper wires and stuff like that that's been going on for some time now. And we saw a decrease in stolen vehicles. So that's actually a positive. Another thing with the burglaries too is they're actually attacking vehicles that look like commercial vehicles to steal tools. So that's another thing too. You know, we suggest if anybody has like a minivan or a pickup truck, try not to store any like things valuable, like as far as like valuable tools or equipment like that in there. So far we've made for year to date, we made 147 gun arrests. And we have 37. I'm sorry, we removed 147. We have 37 gun arrests year to date, and we have 35 guns recovered. And as far as vehicles, the abandoned vehicles, the NCOs did a tow op the week before last, and they went around the precinct and they removed 34 vehicles. So total last year we removed 379 vehicles. And this year, I'm sorry, I said 37 vehicles. There was 47 vehicles towed and 56 summons issued in the last two operations did 2 weeks ago. But last year they actually removed 379 vehicles total. I know the issue that we've gotten, one of the issues that was raised in the general board meeting was trailers. And it's something that, again, it's storage for these things, even vehicles, storage for these things, because if our precinct alone towed 379 vehicles, you got to consider what the 6-3 is bringing in, what the 7-1 is bringing in, and the surrounding precincts in the area that's bringing in. So that's one of the issues that will happen with the vehicles. Other than that, I don't have anything else on the report. Just a couple crime tips though, that what we've been seeing. A lot of that scam calls that's starting to kick back up. The other day I was in the precinct and somebody called the office trying to pull one of those scam calls as far as, somebody was arrested and they needed to speak to somebody. So just to give you an idea, if they're calling the precinct, everyone, these people are desperate. They're calling everyone. So just be advised of that as well too. And that's it for my report.
All right, thank you, Detective Skinner. Anyone have any questions or any comments?
I do.
Okay.
This is Simone Sylvester. I just wanted to know, do you ever do any arrest at Utica and Eastern Parkway with all these dollar vans who, in essence, taken over the bus lanes?
Utica and Eastern Parkway, that's the 71st and
Okay,
77th,
I'm sorry.
and the 77th precinct. I don't know if they do enforcement as far as summonses.
Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you.
To just give a little bit on that, some of the dollar vans are legally allowed to, at points or given an opportunity, those that have the sticker, the NYC sticker and stuff on their vehicles, they are given a little bit of a pass when it comes to that. Now the other ones that are not currently a part of any of those NYC taxi limousine commission programs or don't have the sticker, those guys are gun-ho kind of people. So, just be mindful. There might be a little lax in terms of really enforcing it. If it's really bad, sometimes you may get a roving patrol that may come, but it's not as often because, this community did ask for those dollar vans.
So just to follow up what you said, Mr. Anzi, the TLC has been enforcing them a lot more lately because I know they went into confines of the 6-7 precinct earlier in the month. And last month they were here too. So I know they normally take the reins on that. Because I have to say we have eased up on that because of that, exactly what you said with the some dollar vans are given permission if they're registered properly to pick up fares.
Thank you. I guess for me, I did forget that it's in a different precinct because that's my train station. So I think of it as one big family or one big neighborhood. It's just that they come up Utica and they use that point to do a U-turn. And whether it's red or green, it doesn't matter. And they've literally taken over that area. I don't even think of it as a bus lane. I think of it, and I'm surprised that the bus drivers aren't complaining more. They can barely have space to stop and allow people in. And so, but thank you for the explanation.
Ms. Martinez has a
Yes, good evening. Yes, I'm a little concerned about those dollar vans because I watch them parked around even Harry Mays Park and in East 57th Street by Nazareth, and they don't have plates. And when they do, they put on a plate or they have a paper plate, and people are riding in these vehicles that are really unsafe. And I don't see any enforcement of them at all.
Well,
Ms. Martinez, you wouldn't see the enforcement. You're not going to see the enforcement all the time. But I can tell you that the paper plates, our highway safety guys do go after them. You know, I mean, I know everyone has this thing. They say that, you know, I don't see the enforcement, but you're not going to see the enforcement all the time because you have to understand you also have these bus cameras that they ride in. And a lot of these bus cameras have actually taken a lot of the enforcement onto that as well. So when they're going riding up these bus lanes and they think they're getting away with it, they're actually getting a lot of bus camera summonses, because that was one of the things I spoke about with the TLC officers. They said, you know, a lot of times, a lot of these cameras that they're putting in, the cameras are doing a lot of the work. So if they see where, okay, this area, they're getting a lot of summonses and it's being basically the cameras are doing the enforcement and they're not getting that much complaints, they're not going to focus on here. They're going to go somewhere else that they're getting complaints or where they were lack of. So then they'll go like downtown Brooklyn. This is what one of the officers explaining to me.
See, the thing is to Ms. Martinez, but once someone covers the bin or take out the plate, it is hard for even when you tow it, whose responsibility does that vehicle become? So basically, you will go in the tow yard, or you will go in if it goes into NYP impound yard or whatever, just sits down there. So that's another vehicle that, you know, whether it's abandoned or whatever the case may be. Right? Same thing if sanitation comes, put a stick on it and take it, that's to go somewhere. And it then becomes something that will sit down there because I don't think any of those agencies have the authority to destroy or actually do anything with a vehicle that does not have any identifying markers on it, whether it be a VIN, whether it be a plate, whether it be a inspection sticker. So that's where some of the challenges come with that.
So you prefer to have a vehicle, an illegitimate vehicle on the street with people riding with it rather than it sitting in a pound?
Well,
Ms. Martinez, we can't force people. We can't force people to take dollar cabs. Like people come. This lady came up to me a few months back. She got into an accident in a dollar van up in the 77th precinct, and she wanted to do a report. I said, "Ma'am," I said, "what do you have on this vehicle?" She's like, "I don't have anything on it." I said, "This is the reason why we don't encourage people to take dollar cabs. We can't force somebody to. You know, as far as towing them, again, you know." I think last year we towed 379 vehicles. I think we're doing our job for the most part. The problem is that you tow it, and you guys know this been going on for some years now. They go and they bring it back again. They bring it back again. So that's the problem. I think the problem is that they need to either have a lesser time as far as being sit on the yard, and then it gets destroyed. Because remember, before it even goes to the public pound, it has to sit on a private tow yard first. And the private tow yard has to give the owner of the vehicle time to identify it. So I listen. I 100% agree with you as far as going back to people taking these illegal vans as far as dollar van, but we can't force people to not take that mode of transportation. We can advise them to, but we can't force them not to.
So I see Mr. Frederick Watson Then I see Ms. Kim Mormon, and then I see Mr.
Yes,
So
good
in
night.
that order.
Yes, good night. My name is Frederick Watson. I am just returning back to this meeting. I lost my email and I just got it back. So I'm glad to see most of my friends. And this guy over here, he's my neighbor. Live right down the street from me.
Yes, sir.
So we will talk when I see you again. Thank you very much.
All right, Fred. Ms. Kim Mormon.
Yes, good evening. I have a comment or a suggestion anyway about two things related to what you said. So you said that there was some recent events around the schools, like where you said like a group of young people, not necessarily all minors, but you said there was a mixture, maybe young adults, and then some of them, maybe some minors mixed up. If they're targeting the schools, has there been like, because it's kind of intertwined with Department of Education too, if that's the location where the students are being targeted. So have you communicated with the Department of Education in general that the different superintendents or principals can maybe do flyers to the families, you know, like the students and the families, the parent associations, you know, awareness about that they're targeting the students when they, I guess, when they're dismissed from school each day? Is that what's happening? They're dismissed from school, and then, you know, they're going after the cell phone if they see a student leaving the school. That's my first comment. I was wondering if they could do flyers or if they communicated to the Department of Education, you know, citywide.
That information has been what do you call it? It's been discussed with the principals because our school team has meeting with the principals to advise, and our school teams are there pretty much. We pretty much hit all the locations of where our hotspots are.
Okay,
But
that's very good.
but the thing about it is sometimes what they do is they're not actually getting these kids right after school. They're getting these kids on a side block, how many blocks away from the school.
Right. But
So
is it usually after dismissal?
it's either or. And this is the reason why our YCOs are out there for school arrivals and dismissals, and we also, you know, in between as well too, because most of it what we've seen is after dismissals, but we also have our patrol guys as well too, like on the we'll have like some cars like on the day tour stay after a few extra hours to help out with the bumped up enforcement and our other units as well too.
Okay, that's good. And then, you know, like school superintendents are very useful too for the different districts and parent associations associated with the different schools. Um, Also flyers to the actual students, you know, like usually my son, he's not in school now, but he was District 75. So that's the special education, the District 75, and that's citywide. So they used to put flyers all the time in the backpacks, you know, the students. So do they do that too, or you don't know?
I don't know if the school has done that. But like I said, our YCO team, where they've had meetings with different school principals, and it actually was a big like Zoom meeting with our CO with, like, you know, the superintendent, et cetera, for like the schools
Yes.
that we noticed that they've been doing it around.
Okay. And then the second thing that's related to this, but you didn't mention it, but it's related. They've had also incidents with those delivery guys. I guess the bikes, you know, like Uber and you know, like those delivery DoorDash and stuff like that. I think this is what the case is that they get on those bikes and they get behind people when they're walking, people are walking on the sidewalk, you know, just regular pedestrian. And these delivery guys or whatever, I don't know, they're like snatching people's bag or their cell phone. They're doing that too. Have you heard about that?
That was a citywide crime pattern that they actually closed out last month. It was a group of migrants that basically had a whole team, and it was a citywide pattern because it was in Queens and parts of Brooklyn. We didn't experience that in the 6-7 from my knowledge, but they did make multiple arrests on that and close it out.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Adele Bennett, and then
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me? Yes, this is Adele Bennett, committee member. In regards to the dollar vans that they were talking about, I've observed, I'm sorry, I'm a little sick cold. I've observed them swapping plates, and most of the plates, some of them are paper, some of them are out-of-state plates. Most likely they're not even registered and insured. So what is the precinct going to do with that?
Huh?
No, I mean, it's check the scanner. Like I said, I have observed them swapping the vehicles. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it was going in and out. The last thing I heard was that the paper plates, the paper license plates, being changed or swapped up.
Your phone is breaking up, Mr. Dell.
Can you hear me better now?
It's still choppy. Yeah.
A little bit better, but.
So what I was going to say is I see them swapping plates. And some of the plates were handwritten.
Yeah.
They're making their own plates.
I mean, I don't. I've seen it too, and you know, I think it's a technicality thing with that. It's maybe up to the discretion of whoever. Because remember, yes, even if it's Department of Sanitation, that vehicle has to be there for a certain period of time, and is brought to their attention, and then they would put a sticker on it that states for removal or for tow or whatever, a permanent orange sticker on the vehicle, and then it goes. I think
they don't. So, Mr. Anzi, they don't do that as much anymore because they gave basically the new commissioner of sanitation gave them a little bit more authority to, and the city gave them more authority to basically tow vehicles. Whereby if they're getting complaints on it, they don't even have to wait anymore. They can just do it because they did a tow operation in Sector Eddy over there by Ditmas in 94th and 92nd, and last week I want to say about 4 or 5 people called me, and their cars didn't have any plates on it. And when I'm trying to look it up to see how, you know, as far as if they had the VIN number or whatever, and it would say towed by sanitation. So sanitation has been doing a lot of towing. It's not just falls on the NYPD. The sanitation has the authority to tow. So now what they're doing is they gave them, if it's something like 311 call and the thing fine, like they'll go around, they'll do that whole sticker thing. But if it's if they're getting multiple calls, and if it's a location whereby it's a lot, they're going around, they're doing towing too.
Right. Mr. Tate?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, good evening, Mr. Detective Skinner. I have a couple of questions, but in your report, you mentioned that there was one arrest made on one of those robberies of the young men. I was wondering if, by any chance, was it the one on Avenue D on East 40th Street that took place on February 2nd? I mean, February 12th?
So we made a few, no, Mr. Tate, we made a few arrests on that whole on the whole cell phone thing. One was that day, which we actually got 3 guys on that day. And then the day after they did it again, and we arrested them again. The week after that, we made 2 more arrests as well. So the guys who's doing it, they're actually recidivists. So it's guys that's constantly doing it. It's a crew that we know that's doing the same thing. But again, once we make the arrest and we present everything, and the detective enhance it, it's up to the courts now to decide what they're gonna do with that.
Okay. Yeah, you mentioned that because it was 3. From what I saw, there was three people who robbed the guy, 17-year-old on Avenue D. But you mentioned you arrested them and they did it again the same day, the next day, or is that a different group?
No. So the thing about it is, like, these guys, if it's a group of, let's say, 7 or 8 of them, or 5 or 7 of them, whatever number you want to pick. Remember, if we arrested 3, there's still 2 more out there. And the thing about it is, we arrested the 3 that day, and the next day another robbery occurred. So we don't know if it was the other 2 that was out there that did the robbery the following day. But I know we did make an arrest on it. And that day we got 1 person, but the following week it was also 2 more robberies that occurred. So the thing about it is that we're seeing that it's a recidivism. Sorry. So the thing is that like I said, this was 2 weeks ago. Last week we had 1. So knock some wood, this week we didn't have anything as yet. Hopefully we don't. So I know it was a case that was brought onto those guys that happened on February 2nd because they did a string of robberies. And basically it was, the arresting officers and the detective squad was getting everything together to make a strong case against it. And now it's up to, the court systems to handle it on their side.
Okay, yeah, thank you on that. My other point was regarding the illegally parked cars, because I do see a lot of them, and what's happening is that they take off the license plates and they leave them in the street. When they go back to drive, they put the license plates back. This is happening. I could see that around New York Avenue, near Clarendon Road. I could see it on my block too. But then when they come around, it would during the alternate side of the street parking, I don't see any of those cars that don't have license plate with any tickets on them. So I was wondering, can they be ticketed from the VIN number? Because it's really annoying that these people are getting away with this every day. They just take out the license plate, and when they're ready to drive, they put it back on.
So ticketing from a VIN number you can do, but they prefer you not to. They want the plate to get like the registered owner and everything like that. As far as that, obviously that's the reason why they're taking off the plate. It's not to get a ticket. That's basically the reason why. Alternate side of the street parking again, there's different agencies involved that go around for alternate sides of the street parking as far as making sure people move. I mean, that basically falls on sanitation, falls on traffic as well. It doesn't just fall on the 6-7 precinct. There's other agencies involved to get involved with all the alternate side of the street parking. I don't know how they do the enforcement for that. I honestly don't know, but that's something that maybe look into to see if traffic could bump up some more alternate side of the street parking or sanitation, because I know when the street sweeper comes on the block and if they see a car that's not moved, they're supposed to call a supervisor to issue a summons on that car.
Okay, thank you. My last thing is 42nd, East 42nd between Farragut and Glenwood. It's been, I think it's an Eppies, but it's a commercial van that's been there forever. Right closer to Farragut, right before you go into Patmore. And I believe it's Eppies, if I remember correctly. But it's been there forever, and the
Where is
other
it?
rate is
Where's that location?
East 42nd Street,
Uh-huh.
between Farragut and Glenwood. But it's closer to Farragut Road and the west side. And right now, under it is full of garbage. It's really filthy because they can't clean the street because they're just sitting there.
And what kind of
It's been
vehicle?
there.
What kind of vehicle is it, Mister? What kind of vehicle is it?
It's like I would say it's like one of those box trucks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I believe if I remember correctly, it's Eppies, EPPYS or something like that. But you could see that this vehicle is abandoned, and say it's full of garbage under it. It's you can't even walk near it without seeing that filth.
And you said it's been there for how long about?
Excuse me?
You said it's been there for how long about?
At least 2 or 3 months. Because I've reported this before, but it's getting worse with the garbage.
All right. What we try to do is like when we try to put all these vehicles on the master list that we have. So when they do the tow ops, they can try to grab as many as they can.
Okay.
And when did you make that? When did you make the report originally?
Previous meetings I have. I don't remember exactly when, but at previous meetings I have spoken on that. All of East 42nd Street basically has spoken.
I remember you said 42nd. I remember you mentioned about 42nd Street about people double parking and labels on the sidewalk and stuff like that with the bikes.
Okay, on a positive note, I just want to say that I'm glad to see that on Farragut Road, they have been doing more traffic enforcement, especially with the speeding and all that, because I have witnessed a couple of traffic stops on speeding vehicles. So I'm glad that for the safety of our community. Okay, so I thank you guys for that.
You have Mr. Tate? You saw them out there with the radar gun?
Excuse me?
I said you saw them out there with the radar gun?
Oh, I couldn't hear that.
I said you saw them out there with the radar gun?
No, I saw Mark and unmarked car stopping speeding vehicles on Farragut Road.
Yeah, we've been our traffic guys have been more they haven't just been focusing on just like the main areas that's been like accident prone locations. They've been pretty much all over lately because even on Linden Boulevard, they've been doing more enforcement on Linden Boulevard. I know that was an issue and I spoke to them. They've been doing more enforcement on Linden as well too.
Okay, yeah. Thanks a lot. Okay, I don't want to take up any more time.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
You're on mute if you're talking.
Oh, sorry about that. Right now, we're going to go to our second presentation, which is Poach Advisors. Miss Mehta.
Yeah.
How are you doing? They will do the second presentation.
Okay. Hello everyone.
Hello.
Can I share my screen?
Yeah, you haven't been given
okay.
You haven't been given the authority to as a co-host?
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm able to share. Hold on.
Okay. Very good.
Sorry, just a minute.
There.
Can you all see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Okay. Hello, everyone. Good evening, and
Something's
thank you
wrong
for
with your volume.
Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, I'm Aarti Mehta, and I'm a project manager at Perch Advisors, and we are collaborating with Dollar Ride here as their community engagement partner. And tonight, I want to share with you all about the electric vehicle project called as the Clean Transit Access Program, which is led by Dollar Ride, as you see on the screen. And today in the meeting, we have Masood Sani, who's the founder of Dollar Ride, Taji Morris, and also Megan Yoro, who are also part of Dollar Ride team. Uh, so today's focus of this presentation is going to be short and very concise. We want to introduce Dollar Ride, like who is Dollar Ride, what is the intent of this particular company, what are the benefit and opportunities this project is going to bring to the community at large. And so thank you for joining us, and I would like to move ahead in the presentation. So few of you all may have heard about Dollar Ride, but people who have not heard about Dollar Ride, and would just like to give you a brief intro of who Dollar Ride is. This is a mobility company which is based in Brooklyn. It started by Susani, who is a Brooklyn native and has a family history in dollar van industry. Dollar Ride is focusing on improving access to public transportation, specifically in the areas that are lacking transportation options. Currently, the key focus areas have been Brooklyn and Queen neighborhoods, where they are aiming to connect riders with a network of like clean, safe, and most importantly, regulated commuter van offerings, specifically around being more affordable and convenient. And to implement these targets, the Clean Transit Access Program, also called as CTAP, has been created to make implementation of what I mentioned above. So, just to deep dive, what is CTAP and why electrify these vehicles? So, CTAP has been funded by New York State Energy Research Development Authority, also called as NAZARDA, and Dollar Ride was selected as the community partner. One of the main goal of CTAP has been to support and help transition the existing commuter vans to electric vehicles. Uh, and the main goal over here, the aim of this transition is also to reduce the carbon emissions, to also achieve municipal benchmarks and contribute to more sustainable environment. This transition is going to benefit mostly these drivers and fleet owners of dollar van industry. And also the other benefit is cost-effective options as compared to operating the gas-powered vehicles. So, so to move ahead, I would like to focus on what are the current challenges, and I think we also spoke about this before in this meeting. Some of the challenges related to this industry and how CTAP will support those. So I think the current challenges that the users and also the commuter van industry they are facing are the regulatory oversight, safety concerns have been constant issues, and inadequate licensing and insurance practices that are coming up. So, and for operators and fleet owners, the other main problem is of high operating cost of vehicles and maintenance too. So, with the help of the CTAP program, I think the support that this program will provide is more, as you see, obtaining proper licensing, financial assistance to reduce the burden of these operating costs, training on operating these electric vehicles, training the drivers on operating these vans. Free EV charging and vehicle maintenance is also part of this program. So basically, CTAP has been designed to uplift this commuter van industry, making it more structured, organized, and regulated, and also creating more opportunities for drivers and fleet owners in this electric vehicle space. So, apart from drivers, fleet owners, what overall the riders, the community would benefit? I think one of the benefit, a few of these benefits that the community can expect through this project are safer streets, safe riding experiences in these electric commuter vans, easily accessible transportation options in specifically areas where public transit is limited. Currently, commuter vans are playing these. It's playing a crucial role in bridging transit gaps by offering connectivity for residents to go to their workplace, and also to access their healthcare or education specific areas. So this is being done by first supporting the existing drivers and these fleet owners. Opportunities that are included in this are in commercial driver's license plus TLC licensing for drivers. And there are options for these drivers to either rent, lease, or buy these electric vehicles from Dollaride. So I feel to improve this service, also for this service to be more reliable, I think the first step to be taken is empowering and supporting these drivers and fleet owners with good amount of resources. And overall, I think this would also help in enhancing the reputation and effectiveness of the commuter van industry. So to summarize, what overall on a big picture level, what is the impact commuter van industry will have on our communities? I think it's more of clean and safer regulated vehicles. I think this has been a constant issue even in the community board meetings that we had done last year. Increased connectivity for the riders. It is definitely a benefit to have this transportation option, but at the same time, there are challenges around the safety aspect. And at the end, the industry growth for the fleet owners and drivers is going to be equally an opportunity. With this, I think even more green job opportunities will come up, and the industry hopefully would expand. So I think overall, this is these are some benefits of Dollaride and impact it will have on drivers, riders, and these fleet owners. Um, so I will take a pause here, and I'll leave some space for Q&A. If you have any feedback or any concern questions, we can answer right now.
So Osney Lewis again, chair of the board. One of the concerns with when it comes to the EV charging is the EV infrastructure and what it will and where would the chargers be going in terms of affecting parking, affecting the community in terms of several things. You spoke about green jobs, the opportunities in that. I see you have advertised there a couple of people that are a part of the CTAP conglomerate, Black Power and all these things. So that's the second part of the question. So the first part is, what are you doing to implement the infrastructure for the EVs in the communities where these vans will be picking up passengers?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Hi, everyone. It's Taji Mars here, Director of Engagement at Dollaride. I can answer that question. So for the the onset of our program. We're launching a trial where the electric stations will be located. Essentially, they'll be located at designated areas throughout the city. So to start, we have a lot where our vehicles are parked. This lot is located at 110 Junior Street in Brooklyn. That's where drivers will start in their day, as in their vehicles will be parked overnight. We also have we have partnerships with other parties who provide electric charging. We have a partnership at the Rebel lot, which is at the top of the city or top of Brooklyn at 467 Marcy Ave, where drivers will be able to fast charge during the day. And another charging location on the south side of the city by Floyd Bennett Field, in Floyd Bennett Field, that also provides fast charging. So currently we have 3 different charging areas. 2 are fast charging, all located in lot-like areas, not necessarily like on the street parking. So we're not taking up street parking. And then obviously throughout the duration of our project, we will continue to look for other partners where we could find ideal spaces for these bigger, commuter vans to charge their vehicle.
And the second question, the opportunities in terms of that same green infrastructure, the same opportunities, because you're not only going to need people to install the chargers, but the maintenance of the chargers, and whatever collecting of the data, whatever the requirements are from NYSERDA and others to keep these things active and in proper working order. Because the worst thing, currently is that almost in every state with the EV chargers, there's at least a minimal of 30% that are not working at any given point in time. So I wanted to know, how are you developing that in terms of the workforce development, in terms of giving people opportunities in that green space as was discussed before?
I can take that question. Thank you for the question. I'm Susani. I'm the founder and CEO of Dollaride. Yeah, when it comes to workforce development and job opportunities, there will be many as a result of the CTAP program, including first and foremost collaborating with local nonprofits and CBOs to do things like community engagement. Our relationship with Perch Advisors is an example of that, but we also have contracted work with Brooklyn Level Up and other smaller organizations in the Brooklyn area that's representative of the community. But individually, as we go from 3 electric vehicles, which we have today, to over 100 electric vehicles in the next 18 months, there are going to be lots of opportunities for folks who want to get jobs in the quote unquote green economy, working with Dollaride or working within the ecosystem that we're developing. So those jobs include driving an electric dollar van, maintaining the EV charging infrastructure, and also installing the EV charging infrastructure. There have been a couple of organizations that we've been introduced to through NYSERDA that provide education and training and certification for folks who want to learn more about EV charging infrastructure and how to install and maintain it. There's actually one really interesting company that I've known for several years. It's led by 2 Black women. Their company's called Charger Help, and they actually train and certify folks to maintain EV charging infrastructure. So we have a relationship with them, and as our fleet of electric vehicles grows, that's going to be the opportunity for local folks in Brooklyn and Queens to get new jobs in this new economy.
Thank you. Any other questions from any of the other folks on the
I never want to join that. I got to talk with him.
Mr. Fred, you were saying something? If not, let me go and look and see if anybody has their hands raised. Ms. Bennett, your hand is up. Do you have any questions? Okay, the hand went down. So we could go ahead and go along, go continue with the presentation.
Okay. I think this. I think the one last thing I wanted to address was just to give us more feedback, and if you all think we should connect to any organization or talk to any particular institute on this particular project, we'll welcome any introductions. But if you all have any particular concern, our email IDs are on the screen, and even the QR code. Please provide feedback so that we can get back to you all with the relevant answers or any concerns that you all have. So scan this QR code. Also, website of Dollaride is given just for you all to get more idea on what CETA program is, um, and also to just have a look of the vision and mission values too. So
Yeah, and just to add, again, definitely appreciate your time to be on this call and with this this community. CTAP, is definitely, we're all about safety and accountability for the drivers that are participating in our program. Our goal is to empower the drivers, especially drivers who are committed to pushing this industry in the right direction. We're following all TLC and DOT regulations, so your feedback and your recommendations is highly valued because together, we all need to work together to push this industry in the right direction. Definitely, our team definitely understands the issues that were brought up earlier in this meeting. I've had plenty of conversations with drivers. There are plenty of drivers who want to see the right thing happen, but there's a lot of work that we need to do together. So your feedback is very valuable to us, and we will continue to try our best to stay connected with you as we work with the drivers in the city to try to push this industry in the right direction.
So I want to thank the folks from Dollaride, the folks from Coach Advisors. I think it's something to look forward to. I think it's something that what we would like to do is also to share this same presentation in the general board, where you have a wider part of the different, the different committees, as well as a wider group of people who will be able to see this and be able to give you that feedback that you're looking for. So I will invite you to our next general meeting or the one after. And it's something that you could always get back to DM Fraser, District Manager Fraser, on an invitation to come out to the general board meeting. I think it's a very good idea as the transportation chair, providing this and having the infrastructure in place and the opportunities in place for folks to really benefit in our community in terms of being able to build the infrastructure, be a part of it in terms of having the drivers and all of that. That will be one of the goals to help push our community forward. So, so going forward, only hoping to see good things and better things coming out in terms of pushing the community to the next level. So I appreciate you guys greatly for coming out and sharing with us.
Thank you. Yep,
thank you
absolutely.
for giving us the opportunity.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, everyone.
Right. So at this time, we're doing very good on time. Is there any old business, anything that anybody that is ongoing that they want to discuss or bring to the forefront? I think I see Ms. Hazel Martinez, your hand is up.
Yes, a couple of months ago, I brought this matter up about East 58th Street between Beverly Road and Clarendon Road, and it's a DOT matter with the ponding in front of a driveway of several homes. And you asked me to send you the information, which I did, but I never heard anything because it has to, DOT says it now has to be part of the capital budget. I haven't heard anything else about it, so I don't know where it stands.
So what will happen because the capital budget went out already? Mr. McCabe, who is the person that was on the lead on that, and it already went in. What we will have to do is that if DOT is stating that, then we will archive it, have the information there, and make sure in September when we are preparing for the next capital budget, we'll make sure that that goes into that capital budget. So it's not to say we ignore the request, but the mere fact that DOT said that, and that means that will have to go in there, as well as also the same funding issue that is happening, I believe, on Glenwood in Albany, in front of the pizzeria. I know Mr. Tate brought that up. I know several members brought it up about that area too. And I think DOT is trying to trade back on the owners of that store between the liquor store and the pizza store, stating that is because of their not maintaining the sidewalk is causing that. But I think it's a little more than just that. The street.
We've been down that road already, and
Yeah.
this is several years later after everyone has spent money repairing sidewalks they probably didn't even need to do. We've even walked through with DOT. We've had several assessments done by DOT. So we're at the point now where DOT now comes back and they sent out another team, and now they say it's beyond their you know, financial capabilities or whatever. So it has
I
to
wouldn't
be
say it's
accounted.
beyond.
But I want to make sure that you have the information that I
Yes.
did email to you. Okay.
Yes, I do have it. So we will put that in the capital expense, because what's happening is not out of their thing. DOT is going to push that, because what they do is that they will get additional funding from the budget for those specific projects. Right? So that will come out from either, it could come out from several places. It could come out federally, it could come from the state, it could come from the city. So basically, that's why it's important that when we do have the capital expense or the capital improvement, and we're going to put these things together, that all of these things go in. But I have a mental note of it. I'll make sure that it has been given to DM Fraser, and I will make sure that it goes into the new wording for that our capital improvement budget, which was supposed to come hopefully starting in September. So we'll continue to push them. We'll get all the information together, and then make sure that goes in. So because again, that's the easiest thing for them, is to push it back and not do anything, to say, oh well, it's a capital expense budget, and if it's not inside, then they will say, well, it's not there, so we don't have money for it. So I'll make sure that it gets in this year, and to improve all of these areas that have ongoing issues that that DOT is not willing to put money towards unless it's coming from the capital improvement budget.
The other thing I want to ask you about, sir, is the traffic department. I think that, no attention is really paid to them. They are not doing their job in our community at all. Only thing that they do is take naps on 57th Street outside of Nazareth or in 58th Street. I mean, I take photos of them. They will pass a problem that you've called in. They never come for alternate side cleaning. They don't respond to phone calls. They don't show up at all. And there's no enforcement in our community at all. That's why people know they can park here forever and do whatever they want. And I think that we should be looking into that because it's right there on Remsen by Church Avenue. And really, they deserve to have a visit.
Okay. So I'll put that as one of my visits to go out and to speak in particularly about the area there and the non-enforcement, and I will definitely bring it to their attention about that. So I will do that during next week, and then I'll get back and have a report from that to see if I could get somebody from traffic to actually come to the meeting, and so that they could hear as to all of the different issues. So I will reach out to them next week and try to get them to come to the March meeting.
Yeah.
To address. Right. Let me look. I see. In the chat there are several links that was sent by Poach Advisors. If you click on those are, those could be opportunities as well as explanations about Dollar Ride. We will also have that information in the community board office. DM Fraser will have that, but she's been in communication with the folks from Poach and Dollar Ride.
Yeah, sure. I just wanted to share all the links for everyone to just have a look. But yeah, feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any new business, anything that in particular?
Mr. Lewis, before you go to new business, I thought I put my hand up. This is Leonie Logan.
Okay, hold on a second. Maybe I just missed you. But go ahead, Miss.
Yeah, I just want to speak to your comment about Glenwood Road and Albany. The DOT and the agencies are trying to shift this onto the merchants there. There is absolutely nothing wrong with the sidewalk there. The pizza store, the liquor store, the grocery store, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the sidewalk. The problem with the ponding, as I mentioned to you at an earlier meeting, started when the city repaved the street and pitched it in the wrong direction. There is no drainage there at all. The drainage is on the corner of Albany when you go around the corner. And so it's an ongoing problem, and there is no way that the merchant should be paying for this. It's a city problem.
Okay. So I again, we'll put it in the capital expense. Again, they send back to Ms. Fraser, say they're trying to put it on them, and I don't know who they have that comes out to see, but what I will do is find out from them when is the next post that they will send out, and I will personally go out there. Maybe they are not seen correctly, maybe they choose not to look at it, like, maybe they're just driving by, they see what they think they're seeing and they're not really getting to analyze it. So I'm going to reach out to DOT and find out when somebody could meet with me out there, as well as any other people who might be available at the time, and then we could discuss that. And maybe also find out, they might end up pushing that into the capital expense. I'm already thinking about that, so I'm going to add that, like I said before, to the capital expense or the capital improvement request from the community, so that something has to be done somewhere. Because I did see when we did have some of those cold days and the ice freeze there, the bus stop and where the people have to come out, it's a very treacherous
Yeah,
place to be.
it's way out into the street that they have to
Right.
come. The bus doesn't even come up to the sidewalk.
Right, and so now, you know, it's very challenging, especially if it's dark at night and you can't see that black ice or whatever the case may be.
Right.
In a position where there's nothing to hold on to, there's no place to protect yourself from a very bad fall. And that has been brought up to them several times, but they keep trying to push it back onto the merchants on that stretch, on that sidewalk, to say it's their issue, and we have brought up to them again. So we will continue. I'll make a request of them to come out and possibly meet with me to go over that. If I get that meeting, I'm going to send out or have it sent out to the folks, so everyone who has been a part of that, who has been requesting the fixing of that specific area, based on that, I will make sure that invitation is out so everybody could come out, so that they would see, that they will see that it's something that for years everybody's been speaking about it, but now they need to do something about it, or at least tell us what the next steps are, what has to be done for that to get fixed.
Good luck to you, sir. And just as an FYI, the Precinct Community Council had a meeting on February 22nd where they invited all the agencies, all our elected officials. You know who showed up? Only the elected officials. None of these agencies showed up, and they have absolutely no respect for our community.
So that again, that is something that I will bring up when I speak to them, and tell them that two separate community groups or agencies have requested for them to do something, and it seems as though we are not important. We are left to the side or left to our own whims for them to do something in our community. So I'll definitely make them aware of that when we send our communications. All right, so let me just make sure and look into the chat.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, I have my hands up. I don't think you saw it, but because you were going in and out. But I just want to back up on what Ms. Logan said, because yes, they're trying to push it onto the merchants, but there's no way common sense could tell that it's not a problem with the sidewalk, because the water is not, it doesn't go on the sidewalk until it's a big downpour. Most of the time, the water or the ice is in the street itself, okay? And sometimes it goes almost 2 feet into the street. So it has nothing whatsoever to do with the sidewalk. So may have to point out to them that if it's the sidewalk, how comes the water is in the street and not on the sidewalk? It's basically exactly what you said before, is the way they pave the thing that they block off the runway for the block off or they sloped it wrong so the water cannot run to the drain on Albany.
Right. So definitely I'll bring it to them. Depending on the agency, and it's bad to say, they send people out to appease, but they don't really have the willingness to do something unless it's pushed or pressed upon very significantly. And I think, that's the bad part about what's happened. So somebody will go there and they will see that, but they will write in the report, well, we don't want that responsibility, or we don't want to take on that responsibility until we have to. And I think this is something that I want to bring to their attention, that again, this is what we don't want in our community. It's been going on like this for a long time, and we want to know what are the different steps. And like you said, if it's somebody that needs to be there to actually hold their hand and show them what's going on, then I am willing to help them do that and see what the response is. But we will also put it in the capital improvement budget, and then we could go and lean on them to see when they will prioritize it, because it's gone in the capital expense budget also. So, I mean, those are the two things that we can do.
Thank you.
Just-
I mean, it's possible when you get them to go there, if it's possible, I would like to be there too, because I am one who fell over there. So I really wanted to point that out to them, and I wanted to be able to hear the nonsense that they're talking about. Okay?
Logan, I would like to be there as well. And there should be a photo in the community board office of a bus that was actually there with the ice in the street at the time when it was icy. I sent that picture to the community board office.
Very well. So what we will do is that make sure we'll have all of those things ready to go. I'll talk to Ms. Frazier about speaking to the liaison and trying to bring someone back out. We will have all of the documented evidence, and we will provide it to them, and we will also make sure that it goes in the expense in the capital improvement budget, and we will just continue to try to harass them as much as we can into doing something, and for trying to prioritize that specific location and the other locations that does have the ponding or the water effect after the rain issues. So if that is it, it's 8:58 p.m. I would like for someone to raise a motion to adjourn the meeting.
George State make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 8:58 p.m.
Thank you very much.
Logan seconding.
Very well. So
Okay, good. Blessed evening, everyone.
Yes, good night, everyone. And thank you for coming out. And we look forward to seeing you next month. Same time, same place. Take care and have a good night, all.
Good night.
Night,
Good
everyone.
night. Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Night. Thank you all.
Good to see you, Mr. Watson. Good night.
Thank you.
Good night, Freddie.
Good night, everyone.